Well, hey everybody, Larry and Sansi with you today with Forever Huff's Living. Hey, look, today we're going to talk about chickens and keeping chickens and that sort of stuff. For those of you that's never stopped by our channel, we're retired and we have videos about just about anything we're doing. It's kind of a all-around channel. We just film whatever we're doing, whatever project we might have going on. So if you haven't already, we'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to our channel. So let's talk chickens today. We've got
I said thumbs up.
Oh, thumbs up. Hey, yeah, give us thumbs up and all that good stuff. Let me turn around here and show you our little chicken setup. We currently have 10 chickens, and we've been keeping chickens for quite some time. So we thought we'd do a video about you know, what it's like or what it costs and that sort of stuff. Really, this video is for the person that's thinking about starting to keep chickens. You know, the just basic questions, common questions you might have, and we've actually put 10 of them on a little list here. We're gonna
be 10 questions.
Yeah, 10 questions that we thought were really relevant to starting to keep chickens. Trying to find a good place to get to talk about this. So what's the first question we got there?
Can I have chickens where I live?
Ah, that's a good question. Can you have chickens where you live? Well, you know, that depends. If you're out in the country like we are, then absolutely we can have chickens. If you're in a neighborhood or in a city or a township, you might have to check some ordinances and make sure it's okay. Most places have made it okay to have chickens even in a small backyard, but just to be sure, I would check the local laws and ordinances and that sort of thing. So what else we got? What's our next question?
What all do I need to start?
What do you need to start? So I guess the very basic answer to that, if you're going to start with eggs.
Whew. That's a wasp. Ah, no.
If you're going to start with eggs, then obviously you have to have an incubator. We don't do that, so I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't jump in that far right off the bat.
No.
So if you skip that step, then you can go buy your chicks at a local Tractor Supply or feed store,
And they'll have them where
separated.
they have them separate.
Right,
So,
you'll get hens. They pretty much guarantee they're hen. I guess maybe 1 in 100 slips through and it'll be a rooster, but for the most part they're pretty accurate. You know,
well, they do sell both. They have some that they know
Yeah.
that are definite hens, and then they have some you just take your chance.
And I have, speaking of rooster, we've got that question later on in the thing, but I guess we can go ahead and cover that now. A lot of people want to know, do you have to have a rooster to have eggs?
No.
No, you don't. A chicken is going to lay eggs. What you need a rooster for is if you're going to try to hatch those eggs out. If you don't have a rooster, your eggs are not going to hatch. And
Ask us. Well, we already do, but
we run into that because we don't have a rooster. I really don't want a rooster. I don't care for all of that crowing, and
I do.
she likes it. Maybe one day we'll get us a rooster. But we have gotten eggs from friends that have roosters because we have a broody hen. Matter of fact, she's broody right now. And broody means she's just laying on the eggs trying to hatch them out.
And
Well,
they're not going to hatch.
Yeah, they're not going to hatch out, you know, because we don't have a rooster. But that answers that question. Do you have to have a rooster? No, you do not. All right. What's our next question?
Well, you didn't finish.
what
What all do I need to start?
Oh, yeah, back to that. So
You didn't.
yeah, I didn't finish answering that question. Yeah, squirrel. So if you're not going to do the incubator thing, which we don't recommend, because you can buy chicks relatively cheap, $2-3 a piece. But skipping the incubator part, the simple, quick answer is right away you need a nice sized cardboard box with some like pine shavings in it, some chick feed. Chicks eat a different food than your grown chickens do, so you have to have the chick feed
And a water.
and a water. You got to be able to water them. So, you know, that's the easy, quick part. You know, that gets
The
you
basics.
started. Now they're gonna when you get chicks, you'll have to have a heat lamp most likely chicks come, you know, little furry little looking chicks. They look that way because they don't have feathers yet. Until they get feathers, you're going to have to keep a heat lamp on them so they don't get too cold. Even room temperature inside your house is too cold for chicks. So nice heat lamp to put on them until they get feathered out, which can take a few weeks.
That's our broody one there.
Is it the little black one?
So how many chicks do I need to start?
Well, that depends on how many eggs you want to get. And that rolls into the several topics, really. I'm trying to keep my thought process flowing to where it makes sense.
Each chicken will lay 1 egg a day, basically.
During the warmer months, yeah, they will lay about 1 egg a day. So that kind of determines how many chicks do you want to get, how many eggs you want to get. Now that's during the summertime. During the winter, the egg production will slow down. We've got, well, I'll put it this way. You see our coop back here, and we have 10 chickens. I'm getting about 6 eggs a day. Now there's reasons for that. This is summertime, so they're kind of peak production right now. And of the 10 chickens, we're getting 6 or 7 eggs a day. I've got 2 in here that we just hatched out a few months ago. They're not quite old enough to start laying, so they're not laying. I've got
one that's broody.
One that's broody. She's just sitting on eggs, so she's not laying. And then we've got another one that's getting on up in age, so she's probably not laying regular. And then we've got 6, I guess, that are young and laying regular.
Well, sometimes when it's really, really hot, I don't think they lay.
Yeah. If it gets real hot.
There are some days we only get 4 eggs. We don't know.
Heat can affect it. The winter time, it's more, I think it's more about the daylight hours. The days get shorter, and that affects their laying cycle or what have you. But so that kind of, how many chicks you want, that's our best answer on that. You know, how many eggs do you want to get?
What kind of chicks?
That's a good question. What kind of chickens do you need to get? First, I'd like to say there's plenty of articles out there on all types of chickens and how good they are as layers. Me personally, I like Rhode Island Reds. They're a good hardy chicken and they lay good. We've got 4 of those.
I know those over there, those 2 new ones we have are Wyandotte, something like that.
Yeah.
I think it's what they're called.
The 2 new ones we have, go ahead.
But they're different breeds of Wyandotte. I don't know which breed we have.
Lots of different chicken breeds, and there's articles out there that will tell you how hardy they are about laying eggs, how good they are, and that sort of stuff.
But they're pretty chickens. That's why I kept those.
Well, we had the brooding hen. We got some eggs from another place, a friend of ours, and she hatched them out, and that's what we ended up with. If I was going out to buy chicks to put in here, I would just buy Rhode Island Reds because they're good for what we're doing. What would be another question?
Do they require daily attention?
Yes. They have to be fed and watered every day. Now there's ways to get around that. Let me see, I'll show you over here. I took a drum and I fixed up with a water hose with a PVC pipe and some watering nipples, so I don't have to, you see them there, I don't have to do water every day. They have to have water every day, but I don't have to come down here and water them every day. I can fill that drum up and it lasts for a month or 2, maybe even longer. I've also got some big feeders inside the coop that I can fill up with feed. If we decide to leave for a day or so, I can fill those up and that will hold them.
Why are you putting it inside the coop?
I put it inside the coop because of rain. Just if you have it outside, even up under the coop, and it rains, it still manages to get the food wet and then it'll cake up and they can't get to it. So I do it inside. I feed them inside the coop.
Can I free range my chickens? Can I free range?
Yeah, a lot of people think that free range gives better eggs or something. Yes, short answer, yes, you can free range.
But you have to be careful. We did lose a couple of chicks.
We did lose a couple. Here's the deal. Once your chickens learn where they roost at, you know, say you have them in a pen like I've got with the roost, and once they get accustomed to going in there, you can let them out in the yard, and then late in the evening, just before dark, they'll go back in and go back into their roost. And I did that for quite some time. I'd let them out in the afternoons, or sometimes I'd let them out all day. But then slowly my chickens started coming up missing.
You'd lock the pen up, come back the next morning, and it's like, whoop, one chicken's missing.
So we're in the country. I have a lot of woods behind us. We have predators. You're going to have predators almost anywhere, even in a neighborhood. You got neighborhood cats and, you know,
Hawks,
raccoons. Speaking of hawks, I don't know if you can tell, but we've got a top on our pen to prevent a hawk from being able to get in there, because we do have hawks here.
What's the cost of raising chickens versus buying the eggs?
Well, let's just talk about general cost. And this goes back to kind of what you need, not necessarily to start, but once you get your chicks raised to the point where they're ready to go outside, you got to have somewhere to put them. So we built our own, let's see if I can see it back there. We built our own chicken coop. I started out with a smaller one that's on the other side, and then
that one, the first one, was built out of scrap we had left over from building the house.
Right, we were building a house and we had scraps, and I managed to pretty much build that one out of scraps. Most people go and buy what's called a chicken tractor, and I don't know why they call it a tractor.
Because they can move it around.
You think that's why it's called a tractor?
It's on wheels.
Yeah, it can be moved. It can be moved around. And I've seen them starting at 200 and going up to as much as 1,000. You just have to do your research and decide what size you want. But on average, you can get a nice one for $350, $400 for some backyard chickens. So you got to spend that money. And then you've got to...
And building one is not cheap.
Yeah, just that coop right there cost me probably $1,000 to build that, and that was just material. I, you know, built it obviously myself. So there's some costs going into getting started, more so than just going. You know, you can't just go buy some chicks for $2 and think you're good to go.
And then the chicken food you got to buy.
I buy a chicken feed with 10 chickens. I buy
every 2 weeks.
Not every. No, I'm gonna say once a month.
I don't know. Feels like we in there a lot.
I buy 50 pounds of laying pellets, pretty regular, and it's about $15 a bag. So I'm saying once a month. You're saying every 2 weeks. We really don't keep up with it. Just when I get low, I go buy some more. So all those things you have to factor in. And is it cheaper than going to the store? Absolutely not. You're not gonna get free eggs. It's not gonna be cheaper than buying eggs in the store, but it's much more fun. You know what you got. You know, you don't have steroid laced chickens, and you don't have, you know, crazy laced food, and you know what you got. You know, and I love coming down here every day and collecting eggs. We'll probably be able to collect some here in just a second.
And I am going to say, chickens will eat scraps.
Oh yeah, they're great for that. They'll eat just about anything. So our scrap food from dinner and whatever does not go in the garbage can. We save it the next morning. When I come out, I give them the scraps from our previous day's meals, and they just love it. Any other questions there? And we're just trying to hit the basic questions, so you know.
So how do you store your eggs? I can tell you.
Oh yeah, you can answer that.
As long as you don't wash them, they can sit on the counter.
Right.
As soon as you wash them, you have to refrigerate them, and then they don't last quite as long. But I did read where you can store them in lime water, pickling lime water, and that will store them for a year, year and a half.
Yeah. And there's videos out there on how to do that.
I've not done that yet. I usually just give my eggs away.
Do you remember how long they last just sitting on the counter? It's weeks, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
It's quite a while.
Yeah, mine don't last that long because I do, like I said, I do give them away. And
now the reason it's like that is when the chicken lays an egg, that egg has a protective coating on it It prevents any kind of bacteria to get inside the egg. Where you run into a problem is when you wash that egg, you wash that protective coating off.
Then it has to be.
And then at that point, you have to refrigerate.
And I don't know how long they last after you refrigerate them. So
Yeah.
I don't ever wash them.
Yeah.
Till I'm ready to use it.
What's another? Have we got more
That's it.
questions? That's all the questions?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you ask yourself, well, why do it? And my best answer there is, again, you know what you're getting. I think it's fun.
It's fun to go out and say, how many eggs we get today?
Yeah. So
Who's laying?
let's walk over here and we'll see. We'll see if we have any eggs. Like I said, we have the one brooding hen. Now we fixed our coop up so we can get to our eggs from out here. Now, there's one of the big feeders right there. So that feeder's pretty big. I can put enough feed in there to hold them over for several days.
Nope.
Nope,
No eggs.
And that's actually a fake egg right there. Just so they kind of helps them know where to lay eggs. So you can see right here we have 2 coops. The small one is the one we started with, and it's actually worked out good because I can separate chicks in here until they're old enough to put with the older chicks, because they will establish their pecking order. And if you put chicks in with grown chickens too early, it could be hazardous.
She's laying.
Oh, see, we've got one in there laying right now. And again, I've got another feeder in here, and I can do the same thing here, is load that up with food. And if we need to leave for a few days, let me tilt that down a little bit. If we need to leave for a few days, we can leave. I can load them up with food. My water will handle them for several days. So there's ways of getting around that daily dealing with the chickens. All right, do we have anything else we could share with them about getting started with chickens?
No.
Now, we've hit the basics. There's a lot more to it. There's a lot of particular stuff about raising chickens, which, tons of videos out there. We're not giving any information that someone else hadn't already given. We just thought we'd share. We love our chickens, and we hope we encourage some of you to get chickens and raise your own chickens and get your own eggs. It's just so much fun. So we're going to end this one here. So until next time, it's Larry and Sansi with Forever Huff's Living saying, we'll see you down the road.